How 4chan launched an airstrike using Google Maps. 4chan? When's the last time you guys gone to 4chan? Don't lie. You guys know you guys are goddamn goblins. Yo, what up, guys? I want to let you guys know I've been releasing a series called Art Combat. In this series, pretty much there's two challenges. Number one is I play the game. If I win the game, I can draw any character I want. If I lose the game, I gotta draw the character I lose to. The second challenge is pretty much wherever character I draw has to be a different pose from the previous one. It's only exclusive artwork, only on YouTube, guys. So if you guys want to check out all the exclusive artwork, what characters are drawn, check it out at the Art Combat. Link in the description below. Enjoy the video.
A website called 4chan, and has slowly evolved into sort of the dustbin of the internet, if you will.
B is by far the most notorious forum, and referred to by many as of the internet.
It seemed to be a magnet for people who like to cause trouble.
In the spring of 2016, a massive explosion hit a remote part of northern Syria. It was an airstrike, and the target was a secret rebel camp linked to terrorist groups. But this wasn't an ordinary military operation. The ballistic missile wasn't directed by military experts, but by a bunch of 4chan users, or in other words, internet trolls. So how did 4chan's chronically online users manage to change the course of a war thousands of miles away? The answer isn't what you expect. This is the insane story of how a group of nerdy internet trolls launched a military airstrike using Google Maps. This video idea was inspired by YouTuber Pezzle, who created an amazing video on it. What 4chan is capable of. It's hard to imagine that 4chan, a website where teenagers discuss comic books and cartoons, could influence something as serious as a military airstrike. It's almost scary to imagine. But in order to understand how 4chan was capable of this, we need to look at its insane history. In a 2014 headline, the Washington Post described 4chan as the internet's own boogeyman. That's a harsh description, but it's much nicer than this Reddit post that labeled 4chan as a site Reddit, filled with losers and psychos.
I feel like Reddit's like what was that from SpongeBob? Hot Dog Winnie Jr. or Winnie Hot Jr. That's what Reddit is, like, you know, compared to 4chan at this point, dude. Like, what the fuck
goes. But surprisingly, when 4chan started, it was one of the friendliest places on the internet.
When 4chan began, more than 15 years ago, it wasn't really the place that it is now. Launched in 2003 by a teenager named...
It sounds like your kind of website. What do you mean by that? It's not my kind of website. I'm not on Hinge like that. I never been on 4chan. The only time I've been on 4chan was on stream. That's it, because I didn't know anything about it.
Christopher Poole, 4chan started as an online message board. It was designed to be a place for young people to have discussions and post images related to anime and manga. But from day one, there was something that separated 4chan from other forums. Unlike other communities, 4chan didn't have a registration system. This meant that 4chan users were allowed to post messages or pictures anonymously without revealing their real identities. But this feature was both a blessing and a curse. Because of the anonymity, 4chan users felt free to express their honest thoughts without fear of judgment. However, that same anonymity meant that they could say virtually anything they want with practically zero accountability.
Allowed users to anonymously post whatever, and that whatever quickly became pretty much anything offensive you can think of.
The content on 4chan eventually got so toxic that the guy who created the website got summoned by the FBI and taken to court. And the reason why 4chan was capable of launching an airstrike was because of the kinds of people.
They said it's a website for discussing cartoons and comic books. I know, but it's no longer like that no more. You know? It's no longer like that. It's unhinged. It's worse than Twitter.
People it attracts. There are different types of people on the site, ranging from your average neighbor to hackers that can dox you if you piss them off. 4chan users are often seen as nerds because of their interests, but they're some of the most highly intelligent, analytical, and focused people in the world. And with over 22 million monthly users, 4chan might just be the largest gathering of geniuses online. And it didn't take long before they caused a bit of mischief. No one trolls better than 4chan. For instance, 4chan is known for organizing raids. In this case, raids are when a group of 4chan users get together to target another website, online community, or even a person. They flood the target with mean comments or spam messages to harass them. People on 4chan often participate in these raids just for fun or to see how much trouble they can cause. In 2009, 4chan uploaded hundreds of adult videos onto YouTube just to cause confusion. The raid was organized by a 21-year-old 4chan user from Germany called Flaunty. He told the BBC, "I did it because YouTube keeps deleting music."
It was part of a 4chan raid, and I asked Flaunty, "What is 4chan?" He replied to me, "I suggest you don't go there if you don't want to see gross things."
Another example was a Canadian radio show that held a contest for a fan to meet Taylor Swift, and whoever got the most online votes would be the winner. The people in charge thought that the winner would probably be one of Taylor Swift's teenage fans because the prize was an opportunity to meet her. But 4chaners saw this as an opportunity to have some fun. Programmers on 4chan coded a specially made script running on more than 50 computers around the world. They rigged the votes to push a creepy 39-year-old man named Charles into the top spot. 4chaners said they wanted creepy Charles to meet Taylor Swift and sniff her hair. Charles won, but he was disqualified for irregular voting patterns. As you can probably tell by now, they are skilled. Stunts like these painted 4chan as a website of genius troublemakers who loved to stir things up. So how did these pranks turn into coordinating an airstrike? Arming up for the fight. 4chan is a reminder of how intense.
So they went from trolling the Swifties to the government.
Online communities can be, and sometimes stepping away from the chaos and reconnecting with the real world is what we all need. So I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but I literally wear this necklace every time I film a video, but ironically this video is the one time I forgot to put it on. So what's especially cool about this necklace is that it is a reminder to touch grass. In every piece that Holzkern makes, they incorporate natural materials. This necklace is called the Derivat necklace, which is made of marble and silver. And this other one that I just picked up is the Campania necklace made of satellite in Damascus, and my fiance loves this one on me. Holzkern is a watch and jewelry brand for both men.
I'm gonna say this, guys. I'm not a big fan of jewelry. I just don't really have appeal to it. But necklaces, I think you got fun with it. You know, feels bad for Cupid Charles, by the way. Yeah, you're right about that, Shadow. But yeah, necklaces, I consider. I mean, have you seen those crazy necklaces that they create with those crazy diamonds and crazy characters? They're goddamn, dude.
Men and women. They make products in small quantities to make sure that they meet a high standard of quality that will last you a long time. Like I said, it's literally been over a year since I got this. Still looks fire. To get one for yourself or as a gift for your loved ones, since the holiday season is coming up, click my link below or use my discount code VENTURE to get 10% off. And of course, super glad that Holzkern is sponsoring this video. Quality stuff. It all started when an anonymous 4chan user created a discussion board called Syria General, also known as SG. While most 4chan boards were about casual things like anime and memes, the SG board involved a real war. The Syria General discussion board talked about the conflict in Syria. And just to be clear, none of these are my personal opinions, I'm just stating the facts about what we've researched. The Syrian conflict started in 2011 when Syrians protested against President Bashar al-Assad. They wanted him to step down so they could have a more democratic government. But Assad's response was violent, turning protests into full-blown civil war. As the conflict worsened, rebel groups formed against Assad. To fight back, President Assad asked Russia for help, and by September 2015, Russia was providing air support, weapons, and troops. Around the peak of the Syrian civil war, the SG board on 4chan became popular. It was a hub where users discussed and debated about the conflict. However, most of the members of the board were in support of President Assad, often portraying him as a hero fighting against terrorism and rebellion. And these 4chaners were ready to make a difference. In May 2016, they finally got their chance. A video of Syrian rebels in a secret training camp was uploaded to YouTube. The group behind the video was called Jaish al-Izza, and forgive me if I'm probably butchering these pronunciations. Jaish al-Izza was formed as a rebel group in northern Syria, allegedly connected connected to Al-Qaeda and ISIS and fought against President Assad's forces. Being a rebel group, they kept their base hidden, only appearing when it was time to fight. Jaish al-Islah managed to stay under the radar until they posted that YouTube video. The video showed rebel soldiers performing drills, practicing with weapons, and preparing for hand-to-hand combat. This was a mistake that cost them their lives. On May 30th, 2016, an anonymous 4chan user shared the rebel training video on the SG discussion board and started a thread. The thread was titled "A Rebel Training Camp in Northern Hama. Can SG find it?" The members of the SG board were frustrated by what the rebels were doing. Now they had the opportunity to help President Bashar win the war by finding the rebel base. So, can SG find it? That line was an invitation to solve a real-world puzzle, except the puzzle involved life and death. Finding the rebel base wasn't going to be easy. The only clue they had was the camp somewhere in northern Hama in Syria. The rebels had no idea, but hundreds of hackers and internet trolls were on a mission to track them down, coming together to defeat the enemy. For almost anyone, finding a rebel camp somewhere in the Syrian desert would be an impossible task. But for 4chan, it was just another Monday because they're legendary for their geolocation skills. To geolocate means to identify the exact location of an object on the surface of the earth, down to the latitude and longitude coordinates. The most impressive example of 4chan's geolocation skills happened in 2010 when someone posted a video of a woman tossing a cat that was alive into a trash can. Everyone who saw the video wanted the woman punished, but unfortunately, no one knew who she was or where the video was filmed. That's when 4chan got involved. Their mission was to find the woman and make her pay. It took barely 24 hours for them to analyze the clues in the video and find out who the woman was, where she worked, and where she lived. But they didn't even stop there. 4chan.
All right. I would like to apologize to everybody on 4chan. I don't mean no disrespect. I don't mean no diss. I know nothing. All right. I don't know nothing.
4chan also released the woman's phone number and a Google map of her home address so that the angry people on social media could find her. The woman was so frightened that she turned herself in to the police for protection. 4chaners are experts at finding people, and they were going to apply those same geolocation skills to this new challenge. The first step was to analyze the video for any clues that could reveal the location of the training camp. The 4chaners replayed the video multiple times, paying close attention to every detail. The first thing they noticed were the power lines in the distance. That was their first clue. If they could find where these 3 power lines were, they would be one step closer to finding the camp. And they had the perfect tool to give them a bird's eye view of any place in the world, Google Earth. The 4chaners zoomed in on the northern Hama area, searching for a spot that had the 3 power grids they saw in the video. One user found a location on Google Earth that looked similar and shared it to the group. It had 3 power grids just like the one in the video. The next step was to estimate the size of the power grid so that they could get a sense of the distance and figure out how far the power grids were from the rebel base. To do that, someone in the group provided a blueprint with detailed measurements of the power lines in the area. By analyzing the blueprints of the power lines and comparing the buildings in the video to those on Google Earth, they pinpointed where the base could be. But they needed to be extra sure, so the 4chaners reviewed the video again to see if they could spot more landmarks. They matched the buildings in the video with those on Google Maps, but buildings nearby all looked the same. So they kept replaying the video, searching for more clues. That's when they noticed the beams. In the training video, a building behind the soldiers had an unfinished roof made of 5 beams. When they checked Google Maps, they saw a roof with 5 lines, which were likely the beams. After confirming 3 details, the power grids, the building layout, and 5 matching beams, they knew they had the right location. They found the coordinates. But their discovery created a new problem. What were they going to do with this information? How were a bunch of keyboard warriors going to destroy rebels thousands of miles away? The time has come. The members of 4chan were buzzing with excitement. However, simply finding the location wasn't enough. They needed to get this information into the hands of someone with the power to take action. And that's when they decided to forward the coordinates to a mysterious Twitter user named Ivan Sidoryenko. Ivan is a Russian journalist with a secret identity. Most people first heard about him through his Twitter account. There, Ivan would frequently post updates about the Syrian war, sharing news and opinions in favor of President Assad and the Syrian government. However, there were certain things about Ivan, the journalist, that didn't add up. The first red flag was his name. Ivan Sidoryenko was also the name of one of Russia's most lethal snipers from World War II, with about 500 confirmed kills. This made many people suspect Ivan's name was an alias to hide his true identity. But why would a journal need a secret identity? Another troubling thing about Ivan was his apparent high-level access to secret Russian military information. He would report on planned airstrikes or other operations as soon as they happened, and Ivan's information was always right. This made many people believe that Ivan had serious connections to the Russian military, making him a powerful and intimidating figure online. They called Ivan a friend of Russia's Ministry of Defense. This made Ivan the perfect person for the 4chaners to forward their coordinates to. Lucky for them, there was already someone on the SG board who had a direct line to Ivan. On May 30th, 2016, a 4chan user reached out to Ivan with a tweet. It read, "Hey, I think SG found the right place this time." And then they sent Ivan the coordinates. The 4chan user added, "Let us know if it's the right place. It sure looks like it." Ivan reviewed the coordinates and his response was short and cold. He said, "Done, thanks." Now comes the hardest part, waiting. Tension on the SG board was high. 4chaners kept refreshing their screens, waiting for any sign of the airstrike. They scrolled other threads to stay busy, but kept returning to see updates. They were used to trolling online, but this was on another level. Real lives could be lost because of what they've done. As the gravity of the situation began to weigh on them, the atmosphere in the group grew tense. They believed the rebel group had ties to Al-Qaeda and ISIS. This meant that they were the bad guys. Whatever the case, it was too late to turn back now. All they could do was wait. Hours passed, night came, and a new day began. May 31st, 2016. Just when it seemed nothing was going to happen, a breaking news alert flashed across their screens. The Russian military launched an airstrike on a rebel base in the Syrian desert. The coordinates matched the exact positions shared by the 4chan members. There was even footage showing the airstrike. The SG board erupted into celebration. Some cheered while others sat in stunned silence behind their laptops. They did it. By tapping on their keyboards in the safety of their homes, these young guys on 4chan ended many lives, for better or for worse. Ivan even acknowledged 4chan's role in the airstrike with a tweet. Location of a terrorist training camp thanks to SG. However, as they celebrated, one last piece of information was revealed. It made people wonder whether the 4chan users who located the rebel base were truly heroes or the worst of villains. Did 4chan target the right group? Although the 4chaners believed they were doing the right thing by targeting what they considered a terrorist group, others thought differently. In a Reddit post, a user explained that the group 4chan targeted might not have been terrorists at all. The Redditor pointed out the group was Jaish al-Izah. They're not a terrorist group, they're just a group among the many who want to remove the oppressive Assad regime. These 4chan idiots thought these guys would be terrorists simply because they were in good terms with Al-Qaeda. Jaish al-Izah has also not committed any terrorist acts. Simply put, 4chan might have helped launch an airstrike on freedom fighters who were only fighting for their rights. We can't know for sure if those rebels were terrorists or not. What we do know is that 4chan did something no internet forum has ever done before. They weren't soldiers, they weren't military, most of them were labeled nerds by a large portion.
Wow, dude, they found the bit. So they never uploaded that video. They will never find out what they were, obviously. That's crazy, dude. Weaponized autism. I don't know. It's a thing where like you don't know their full intentions because you don't know who they are, kind of thing. You just never know. Like maybe they're like the middle ground, you know, they're trying to be peace with everybody. Trying to find a middle ground. I think that's what you're trying to say. That's crazy.
Of the internet. But with just laptops and Google Maps, they played a direct role in a lethal military operation. The event took place in 2016, but to this day, people on the internet talk about 4chan with fear and respect. And they should, because with this airstrike, 4chan users proved that if we put our collective minds together, there's nothing stopping us.
That's crazy.
Visual venture.
God damn, dude. 4chan of all things. I wonder what the comments are going to be. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if 4chan just straight up decided to start World War III at this point. Like, oh my god, dude. It's just a prank, bro. The prank. And then, like, 4chaners are some geniuses with 2 or 3 guys who know what they're doing, do all the work while a bunch of no-life losers talk shit on the internet, on the comments. Yeah, that's everywhere, really, right? Your editing is so sick. Yes, it is. Not mine, but you know, this 4chan is effing wild site. Yes, it is. Honestly, what a shit take at the end. They killed people fighting for freedom. See, I know that I knew that part is gonna like got controversy. That's why I didn't really want to comment too much on it. I'm a fence sitter, so I don't care. Yeah, welcome back. It's kind of funny how to see the world being internet. A massacre series that happened. Resident Zero. I remember hearing about this 4chan users. Probably some of the most dangerous people online. That is true. That is true.